So just before I begin, just by a show of hands, who here has heard the term big data? I know there was a brief Charlotte Talks episode I heard the other maybe a couple months ago on NPR in the morning on my way in. I realized, oh wait, they're talking about this. This must be a big deal thing that we're doing. But I don't know that the general public has kind of gotten a whole lot of exposure to it yet. And so I always try to lead into these things by explaining what big data is and why it should mean something to you as a consumer or as a business owner. Again, just by show of hands, how many people here are a small business owner or a person who's in charge of or responsible for customer relations in a larger firm, or is just in general responsible for getting your hands around some very large volumes of data? Okay, so we have a few. So big data is sort of an umbrella term for a group of technologies that are used to collect, store, and process very, very large amounts of data. This is where we're talking about volumes of data that we didn't really have the technology to handle in the past. Businesses have, for years, been generating this data and not necessarily storing it or using it to their best advantage. And Tresata was formed by Avi Mehta and Richard Morris, two guys out of Bank of America, who were responsible for building and deploying one of the first big data systems in the financial world. And what they did in starting the company was try to begin writing applications on some of these big data platforms that allow businesses to more effectively manage that very large set of data that they're generating. So what are we talking about really when we're talking about big data? So every time somebody calls your business, that's a piece of information that you need to know about. Hey, this customer called and they had a conversation with someone in your call center, or they had a conversation with someone in sales or customer service or what have you. Every time someone visits your website and fills out an application or checks out your product line, that's a piece of information that you need to know about. Nowadays on social media, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, and people are mentioning products and services and businesses on those social media networks, and you need to be able to manage and at least know about, if not proactively act on, the data that is generated on those networks. In traditional technology deployments, in traditional technology products, you didn't have the scalability, the ability to store and process all of that information in one place and coordinate between those different systems that generate information. So big data is a product or a series of products that have come out of the web world. We're talking about Google, Yahoo, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc., that allow these companies to handle the tremendous amounts of data that they generate, and that those technologies have been brought into the broader business world by companies again like Yahoo, like Cloudera, and of course Tresata, my employer, right here in South End. So I just want to get on the notes here. So what specific technologies are we talking about? Tresata leverages a technology called Hadoop. Funny name, it's actually named after the author's son's stuffed elephant. And it's a very cute little yellow stuffed elephant. Hadoop is a general system for allowing a bunch of computers, it could be 5, could be 10, it could be 1,000, to share the workload. It's the technological version of the old saw, many hands make light workload. So just like folks were working together to build that building in Haiti, the computers are working together to store and process your data and provide platform for you to really get a handle around how to work with this. Now, all that's very abstract, I realize that, and what Shain has done is we have started to build upon the platform that Hadoop provides. It's a very broad platform, it's applicable to a lot of things, but it hasn't really been specialized down to any particular business area. And so Shain, being focused on finance and the banking industry, we have started there and built a few applications that are specific to finance. But we feel that a lot of different industries that would be able to benefit from these as well. And so we're not strictly heads down focused on finance. This is really applicable to any kind of business. So before I get too much further, I wanted to give a quick demo of our platform. So we've tried to make big data as easy to use as possible. As an example application that we've set up here is something that we call Total View of Customer. So this application has been preloaded with data about banking customers. It's been anonymized, so I'm not going to be giving away anybody's bank balance or social security number or anything. But it gives you an idea of how simple we have made this process for handling really, really large volumes of data. This processes, I think, about I want to say it's about 500 million bank records. Just loading them up, deduplicating them, so finding duplicate records and eliminating those, cleaning up the data, and processing it for storage in Hadoop. So I'm going to run this guy, this Total View of Customer, and of course it's going to blow up on me because that's what happens when you do live demos. Let's see if there we go. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to call this Roadway and run it. And that's it. We've really made this a point-and-click operation, and you can see that it runs through, and it's going to these dots are going to turn green as it goes through these various steps of uploading, processing, deduplicating, and joining the data together to make a sensible end view of all of this bank data. So while that's running, I'm going to show you on the other end what we get as output, and this is really where the cool stuff happens. So we've made this integrated with a really nice charting and graphing package, and this gives us the ability to show you these really large data sets. And this graph is actually produced from the data set that I'm processing now. I've pre-canned this one, but it gives you the ability to really show it very nicely. We can eliminate different things and mess around with the graph, display the data different ways, including on some very nice maps. By zip code. And right down, if this comes back, which is going to take a little while. This is going to show right down to the individual property level. So that's Florida home value data. You can see Florida's not really in great shape, but this kind of goes to the point of what we do, and that's really we focus on processing data at a really fine level. These are individual households, and we can actually drill down and see what these individual households at the street level look like in terms of a mortgage valuation, or loan to value, as people call it. So, as a consumer, why is this important to you? And I gather that there are a few people here who are probably on the corporate side of it, but I think that a lot of folks here in the room are consumers of these services, and it's important to note, and I think that that's something that we don't necessarily highlight enough, is why is this as a consumer very important thing? Well, your bank, your phone company, your doctor know more about you now through systems like this than they ever have in the past. And that's initially probably a little scary. but there are some very good things to it as well. For example, what we can do with this system is we can tie together for a bank your credit card information, your home loan information, your 401k, your retirement account, your checking account. Get that all into one place and give the bank a really good view of who you are as a borrower. So if you call your bank up and you say, hey, I'd like to get a refinance on my house, they can see, oh, well, you know, your equity in your house is not that great, but you know, you have a lot of money in your retirement account, and you always pay your credit card on time, and your bank balance consistently has, you know, you have a good bank balance month over month. That's important information for them to know to make a decision on whether to do a refinance. And so we're enabling them to have technologies like that to really get a better view of who you are as a customer, and you know, giving large finance companies, primarily for us, but as well as other industries, a better view of their customers and every touch point with that customer. Before I go on, any questions so far? Just a couple of other points. We're working on, like I said, the primary focus on finance, as you know, as these graphs and charts show. But the other industries that we're working with are industries like home improvement, retail, medical as well. And those industries also are starting to get to the point where they realize that they have a lot of data on their hands. There are you know, medical records which generate a tremendous amount of data, and obviously you know, something that we want. You know, we want our doctors to know as much as possible about our medical histories when they're making a diagnostic decision. So that's something that you know, the more information they have, the better, and that's where we're trying to enable that as well. We want to enable retailers to be able to give the best product recommendations when you are in a store or on a website. There are a variety, a large number of uses for this technology, and you know, it's a very exciting time and place to be in the technology world. I just wanted to finish up by showing, okay, this is still running, but I wanted to zoom in on these guys. And in my aim here to show that this is a very beneficial technology. Let's just zoom in a little bit further if I can. Certain houses here.
While you're waiting for that, the question is this: do you provide the big data? Do you have the servers and so forth where you keep all of that information, like the cloud that we are familiar with?
Sure. We do offer the service in that type of environment. So if you as a business don't have the infrastructure to stand up and host 5 or 10 or 20 server machines, we can host that for you in the cloud. The majority of our customers, being big banks and other companies with very sensitive data, are still pretty wary about that.
They're building their own data.
They want it in their own data center.
This is a program then that you have that utilizes their data.
That's correct. Right. So, any other questions so far? Yeah.
You primarily or only deal with the financial data that is out there, or do you work with other vendors?
We all come from a financial services background. So the company was founded with the focus on financial services, and the initial set of applications that we've built are financial services focused. And we're pretty well known for that. That's how we know OIG. We know a lot of people in that sector, and so that's really been our core focus. That said, we've gotten a lot of interest in this, as I mentioned, from the retail sector. There are some large home improvement retailers that have come to us in particular to talk about this. We've gotten a lot of interest in it from the healthcare sector. As I mentioned, may not have mentioned, medical devices generate a tremendous amount of data. So if you have a pacemaker, if you have an automated blood glucose monitor, things like that generate a huge amount of data. And that's something that doctors are looking for a solution to store and analyze to better diagnose and treat their patients. So we are looking at a variety of different industries as well. So I just wanted to drill in here, and this is sort of a wrap up, but this is real loan data, and I don't know if you can really make it out with this projector, but each one of these dots represents a household in the Miami area, and those households really have quite a mix of red and green in them. And what that means in this case is that we've gone down and we've analyzed for household by household level the value of that house versus the amount of mortgage they have on that house, and a few other factors to generate an idea of the financial strength of that household. What most bankers, if they're honest, will tell you is that a lot of assumptions about your creditworthiness are actually made by aggregate, by saying, okay, well, you live in this zip code or this county, and there are X percent of people in that county are underwater. So we're not necessarily going to give you a loan or give you a refinance based on just the fact that you're in that county. What we found in analyzing this data is that that's not necessarily a really good picture of the world. The houses in this have a really big mix of green and red, even though when we were at an aggregate level, this county looked very red. It looked like a very bad situation. So what we want to do is give banks the ability to drill down to those people in the area that are good borrowers, that are good credit risks, people that are responsible with their credit, and be able to help those folks out and keep those folks business. So that's really all I have for a fixed presentation. Anybody have any other questions? Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is this more like company specific, or would like a specific company within the financial services would be interested in going to pull in all types of information, financial loans, credit cards from all different companies?
That's a really good question. From our perspective as a technology company, there's nothing that would prevent this from pulling in data from a variety of sources. Typically, you're not going to see that within a bank because, if I understand your question correctly, your Bank of America is not going to use this to pull in your Wells Fargo information, just because of, it's two separate entities. But from a technology perspective, yeah, absolutely, this could be used to aggregate across banks and across financial institutions. Sure.
You have this data on the entire country. You just showed us Florida.
Yes, yeah. We use Florida as a.
So you have household information on every household and every loan to value of every single house.
Yes.
In the United States.
Yes. Yes, that's a pretty tremendous amount of data. We try to keep it simple by we have two demos that we run Miami and San Francisco area, but yeah, we have a lot of information there. Anything else? Great. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with y'all, and have a nice afternoon.